Hello my dear students, I hope all of you are fit and fine. Today we will be reading the last chapter included in your half yearly portion, that is the Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde. But before discussing this chapter, I want to say something. I don't remember the question number actually, but a question do you think Roger was happy, if Roger was happy, or why he was wagging his tail throughout the program? That question that needs some rectification. I won't say rectification, some modifications, because I missed a very important point, and thanks to one of your friends, her answer reminded me of that point. The point is, I'm just mentioning a little bit here that Roger was an innocent creature. He was a dog. He was an innocent creature. He didn't know actually what was going on in that occasion. Actually, whatever was going on, that was beyond his understanding for an innocent and for a creature like dog. So maybe that is why he kept wagging his tail throughout the occasion. This should be included because this is, I think, the most relevant point. So you let me know in the live class, you can include it on your own, or should I give the answer again making all those modifications? Okay, now let's concentrate. Let's read this chapter. The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde. So as we always do, before going through the chapter, we should know a little bit at least about the author, or in case of poems, the poet. Oscar Wilde was a famous playwright, novelist, poet and critic. Wilde wrote 9 plays, 1 novel, short stories and several poems. He is famous for his wit, humor, the capability to produce humor through intelligent comments, intelligent writings, sparks of which brighten up his works like the Canterville Ghost and the Importance of Being Earnest. The Importance of Being Earnest, it is the name of actually a drama, a play written by Oscar Wilde, and the Canterville Ghost is one of his short stories. And the sparks of the fragments, the usage of his wits, it helps the works to be more attractive, to be more interesting. Okay, so now we will start reading the Canterville Ghost, which is one of his short stories. Okay, this one is a short story written by Oscar Wilde. Which of the following words means a practical joke, quote unquote? Obviously a prank, and the meaning of other words, I would suggest you to search them. The other words, their meanings, you search them on your own. Okay, I will ask in the live class. You may have heard of people dressing up as ghosts to play practical jokes on other people, but have you heard of people playing practical jokes on a ghost? No, never. We play pranks, we know about pranks. Nowadays prank, the term is quite famous because of YouTube and everything. We always, not always, this is very common. We watch prank videos on YouTube. So this is a very common term nowadays. But we always see that a man or a woman, a person is playing prank on other persons. Okay, but have you ever thought of it, or have you ever heard of it, that a person is trying to play a prank, trying to make a ghost fool? Prank means what? When someone tries to make other person fool and tries to entertain others in this way, that is called a prank. But have you ever thought of it, that a person is making fool out of a ghost? No, I at least have not heard of it. Let's read the extract to see whether the ghost succeeded in horrifying the Otis twins by dressing in his best costumes, or whether the twins got the better of him. So in this story we have to find out whether there is a ghost. It is very clear, and sisters or brothers, I don't know, of a family, Otis family. They are there in this story, and maybe the ghost was trying to terrify them, but did he succeed in doing that, or the opposite case happened? I mean, the Otis twins terrified the ghost in a better way. Let's find out. The Canterville Ghost is a humorous story about the Otis family who moved from America to a castle in England. This is important. The castle was haunted by the a place which is frequented by a ghost or spirit. Okay. The castle was haunted by the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville, a dead nobleman. Nobleman means a man of reputation and an important personality. Obviously before death, not now. Unlike previous residents, the Otis family was not in the least frightened by the ghost. Okay, the previous residents of that house, the previous inhabitants of that house, that castle, they were really frightened by that ghost. Okay, the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville. But these Otis family members, no, they are not least bothered about him. When the ghost clanked his iron chains, Mr. Otis offered him a lubricator to oil them. When he left a blood stain, Mrs. Otis calmly wiped it away with stain remover. Then one night, the young Otis twins scared him with a ghost they had made out of a curtain. This is humorous. Someone is scaring a ghost, a person actually is scaring a ghost by taking the disguise of a ghost. This is really funny. A cleaning brush and a turnip. Turnip, a European plant of cabbage family. The extract given below tells us what happened from the next day on. So the previous incidents, those are described very briefly in this paragraph mentioned before the text. The text is written in a comics form that is very nice. Okay, these illustrations, these pictures, these make the text more interesting for you. And it begins from chapter number 4. A short story cannot begin from chapter number 4. There were chapter 1, 2 and 3 obviously. So the summary of those chapters, the incidents of those chapters have been, the summary has been delivered here, provided here very briefly. That is good. Oh, okay, I want to say Sir Simon de Canterville, he was actually a nobleman, as you can see. Now he is dead. How actually, why is he haunting the castle? During his lifetime, he, for some unknown reasons, not properly known actually, unknown reasons, killed his own wife, and then he was starved to death by the brothers-in-law. Okay. After that, he kept haunting this palace, and somewhere I read that he was, constantly he had been suffering from a guilt feeling. Okay, that was also a reason. The main thing is he killed his own wife, and because of that the blood stain was there, the infamous blood stain on the floor. You will come to know about it, I guess, if that is there in the story, or this has been mentioned in this paragraph only in the summary of last 3 chapters. And then he had to starve to death because he was killed in that way by his brothers-in-law. Okay. Now the story begins. Chapter 4. The next day the ghost was very weak and tired. Before that day, what happened? Otis twins scared him with a ghost they had made out of curtain, a cleaning brush and turnip. The extract given below tells us what happened from the next day on. So after that we are going to read. Okay, remember this. The next day the ghost was very weak and tired. The terrible excitement of the last 4 weeks was beginning to have its effect. Sometimes this, sometimes that. The ghost himself became tired, going to terrify the family members. Can you imagine? A ghost is tired while terrifying the other family members. How irritating for, not for me, for nerves were completely shattered. They were very much tired and exhausted. And he started at the slightest noise. A ghost, he came into being. He came into being at the slightest noise. He began to startle also. Okay, actually he was in a terror because of the activities, because of the excitement of last 4 weeks done by those family members. He himself was terrified. Okay, was nervous. I should say. For 5 days he kept his room. He didn't get out of his room, and at last made up his mind to give up the point of the blood stain on the library floor. So where was the blood stain? On the library floor. Okay, this thing I will explain. Wait. If the Otis family did not want it, they clearly did not deserve it. So what is the scene of the blood stain? On the library, in the library room on the floor there was a blood stain. Okay, I read that when the Otis family entered the castle for the first time, they saw it, and someone, I think the keeper of that castle, he told them, he or she told them that this one is the blood stain. It had been there since the murder time of Sir Simon de Canterville's wife, and then they calmly just removed it, wiped it away. Then again and again they wiped it away, and again it reappeared. This continued, and after all these things, the ghost actually decided to give up, as you can see here. That no, leave it. If these people can't even understand why this blood stain is there, it is made only to terrify them. They don't even have that much intellect to understand that the gravity of this blood stain, that there can be something supernatural, then they don't deserve it. I should not do it for them. They don't want it, they don't understand the depth of it, so they don't deserve it. So the ghost decided to give up on them. He was irritated, I guess. They are evidently, obviously, they are evidently people on low material plane of existence and quite incapable of appreciating the symbolic value of sensuous phenomena. Okay, phenomena, you can see here the meaning of phenomenon has been given, an occurrence whose cause or explanation is in question. Okay, you don't know why this has happened, what is happening, the cause and the explanation, all these things are in question. You cannot explain properly anything about these incidents. Okay, so according to that ghost, these people, they did not have that much sensuous intellect. They were just very much materialistic people. Okay, they did, okay, this is happening, then remove it. Consider the blood stain. If it happens with a common man, what would we do? We would definitely think about it when if it continues to reappear. But they were so materialistic, they were so ordinary minded people that they didn't even think of it. And according to the ghost, they didn't have that capability to grab the sensuousness, the things that, the incidents that create, that affect our senses more than anything. So they didn't have that capability to think in that way, to feel the incidents in that way. The incidents which are undoubtedly sensuous didn't have any effect on them. So the ghost was really irritated and exhausted and decided to give up. Okay, these people are not suitable for me to, I should not just try to terrify them in these ways. They don't deserve this. This was his approach after all those incidents. However, it was his solemn duty to appear in the corridor once a week and to gibber from the large oriel window. Okay, oriel window, the meaning has been given here. Yes, a window supported by brackets and located on large upper story bay. At first I was trying to understand how to make you understand about this, but then I saw that you will better understand it if you are doing the classes on your phone through your go to Google and search Oriel window and see the pictures. You will best understand through that. If you see the pictures, the castle, in castles there were hanging windows, like outside the castle there were hanging windows. Those are called to be Ariel windows. You just check the pictures and I'm sure you will best understand. The understanding will be at its best level if you see the pictures. Okay, this is my suggestion. Don't forget to check the pictures. However, it was his solemn duty, okay, for Sir Simon de Canterville to haunt the palace, to appear in the corridor once in a week. He considered these things to be his solemn duties. I must do these duties. To haunt this palace, to walk in the corridor once in a week, for him it was duty. And to gibber from the large Oriel window on the first and third Wednesday in every month. These are important informations, okay, you may underline. And he did not see how he could honorably escape from his obligations. These were duties for him and he was very much responsible towards his duties, as you can understand through this box, through the words of this box. He was very much responsible towards his duties, so he could not understand how to escape from my duty. Why was he thinking to escape the duties? Because he was afraid of the family members. Why? Because the children, especially the children, all the time they continued to do this and that, to play pranks on that ghost, and he was really exhausted. He didn't want any more excitement, okay. That's why he was in terror. If they catch me while I walk on the corridor, they will again do something. How can I just escape their activities, but at the same time I cannot escape my duties? Such a confusion. I hope you can understand. It is quite true that his life had been very able, but upon the other hand, he was most conscientious in all things connected with the supernatural. Okay, he was an evil man because obviously he killed his wife without proper reason. But at the same time, he had a strong sense of responsibility towards his obligations, towards his duties. He did not want to escape his duties. He was very serious about them. Okay, though he was an evil man throughout his lifetime, he was very much conscious and serious about his duties. And especially after death, especially with the duties connected with supernatural. Supernatural, paranormal things, like which are beyond the explanation of science and the laws of nature. Those things supernatural means. For the next 3 Saturdays, accordingly, he traversed the corridor as usual between midnight and 3 o'clock. These information is really important. Okay, you need to remember these things. For the next 3 Saturdays, accordingly, he traversed, continued to travel through the corridors as usual between midnight and 3 o'clock, taking every possible precaution against being either heard or seen. He was so much terrified. The ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville, he was so much terrified of the children and other family members that he was trying his best to escape the meeting with any of them. Okay, because he knew if he met any of them, he would have been in trouble. They would play prank on him and he would be in trouble. And he was not ready for that. He was exhausted. He was irritated because he was a ghost, a renowned ghost. The castle was haunted. Everybody knew about him, his ghost also. And I'm sure that throughout his career as a ghost, he had not faced anything so humiliating like that. This is this is an insult. This was an insult for him, obviously, in his whole career of a ghost. Okay, as a ghost. He was careful to use the Rising Sun lubricator for oiling his chains. You remember when he made noise, when he made sound, created sound with the metallic sound because of his chains? A lubricator was given. He was given a lubricator by Mr. Otis, and now he has gone to use that Rising Sun lubricator. The brand name also has been given for oiling his chains. He had taken this one night while the family were at dinner by sleeping into Mr. Otis's bedroom. It was kept in Mr. Otis's bedroom, and one night when the family members were busy to eat the dinner, he just stole it from there actually. Silently he stole it from there. He felt a little humiliated. Why? Because he was a ghost and he was supposed to terrify people rather than being terrified by people, but when he made noises with his chains, a lubricator was given to him by Mr. Otis. Like, use this, stop creating this noise. Such a thing, this was a humiliation for a ghost. So, he felt a little humiliated that I am following the advice of a human. Okay, let's do it. He was at first humiliated, but afterwards were sensible enough to see that there was a great deal to be said for the invention. The invention means the invention refers to that lubricator oil. He gradually realized, he applied logic. At first he felt humiliated, but then he applied logic, he applied reasoning, and gradually he realized, no, actually there is a great deal, there is much, this invention, it should be appreciated. Yes, it should be appreciated. It is great because he actually used it and he made his chain smooth by using it. So he was happy, satisfied. Okay, this thing works properly. And to a certain degree it served his purpose. Served his purpose means it made the chain smooth. There was no more noise created from those chains. Still, in spite of everything, he was not left unmolested. You can see, unmolested, not harassed, not unharmed. By whom he was harassed? All the family members, and especially by those children. So still, in spite of everything, he was not left unmolested. Strings were continually being stretched across the corridor. You can imagine the scene. Suppose this is the corridor I am showing here, because otherwise if I show here you cannot see. So suppose this is the corridor. I am the ghost and I am walking. I am trying to walk here. And if you set strings like from here to there, I would obviously stumble, right? I would fall down. And no one, okay, and on one occasion, while dressed for the part of Black Isaac or the huntsman of Hogleywoods, he met with a severe fall through treading on a butter slide which the twins had constructed. Okay, he used to play like actor. Okay, he used to take disguise of these Black Isaac or the huntsman of Hogleywoods. These are some names, terrifying names of Daden time. Okay, these are these are the names of, the mention of these names used to terrify people. The mention of these names used to terrify those people of that time. So when he saw that by, he himself was not able, in his own appearance, he was not able to terrify the family members. He took disguise of of these people, the Black Isaac or the huntsman of Hogleywoods. So Hogleywoods, these were the disguise that he was taking. He continued to take in order to terrify those people. But on such a day, what happened to him? The twins, Okay, the twins of Otis family, they kept a water slide. He stepped on it and he slipped and fell down badly. Okay, so I hope you can imagine how much humiliation he faced through these incidents, and how funny this is for us, for the readers actually. Wait. This last insult so enraged him that he resolved to make one final before to assert his dignity and social position. So this last incident, keeping butter slide by the twins and he stepped on it and fell down badly, this made him furious, and he kind of took a go that I need to take a revenge, to declare my power, to prove my power, who I am. They should know. So what will I do? Let's see. And determined to visit the insolent young Etonians the next night. Etonians, there is a college named Eton College. Where the members may be students or something else, obviously students I guess. So they are called Etonians. So he determined that I will teach them a lesson. Such humiliation I will not tolerate anymore. They should know who I am. Okay, I am a ghost and they should be terrified of me. So he decided to visit the Etonians, means to terrify the Etonians the next night. The next night I guess, yes, the next night. In his celebrated character of Reckless Rupert or the Headless Earl. So he will again take a disguise. He decided to take a disguise of any of these two options, and he decided, he was determined that I am going to teach them a lesson this time. They have to know who I am. This thing, okay, he was so furious by that fall. Okay, you read up to this. Next day we will continue after that. Before the live class, try to read, and any confusion you may ask me obviously in the live class, and let me know about the answer that I mentioned from Achilles actually, whether you can modify the answer on your own or you want me to write that down for you. Okay, so for now, bye bye.